Hello, and welcome back to the PatricksGreenTea podcast. I'm really happy about how this episode came out. It was really nice to reflect on the last summer of my college career, which was super eventful. I mentioned in this episode that I've been using my dad pens to their bare minimum to conserve them for as long as possible. I've been going a bit over the minimum every so often now that I see how long they last, and they do only last a short period of time in terms of the effects, a little shorter of a period than regular weed. Something else I notice is that no matter what the strain and the effects on the mood during the high, I always end up really tired afterwards for a few hours. Regardless, the discretion that dad pens offer is a really big factor for me, so I'm really enjoying them. That's it, and I hope you enjoyed the episode.
Hello, this is Patrick's Green Tea podcast again, and I am Patrick, and this is the last day of my summer. How bougie and like highbrow was that intro? Not necessarily highbrow, just like overachieving, hipster type. Anyways, yeah, it's my last day of summer. I have classes starting tomorrow. Usually I have Tuesday, Wednesday classes, but all of the classes are going to start on Wednesday for the whole university. So those Tuesday classes will not be had until next week. So this week is going to be like a really light intro into the semester, and then I'm going to probably expect some work and get none or very little from the other class I'm taking. I think I'll take away a lot from the senior collegium, whatever you call it. Because I need to learn how to apply places, and get jobs. And I hope they do a good job of teaching us how to do that. I don't know if I did a podcast since this weekend. I had a really good time. I saw my musician friend Nick and his friend Nikki. Nikki was a really interesting character. I've never met her before. But she lived out of a tent for 4 years between Oregon and Colorado. And she's been working like video and lights for the concerts that have been going on, pre-COVID. And she has some really cool headlining acts. Government Mule, Derek Trucks, Dead and Company, those are the big ones. So I met her. We talked about how, she kept reminding me that I asked how old she was. Not by directly saying it, by just continually mentioning that she was 26. I guess I asked how old she was, and then it was just a weird. There's never a good context to ask a woman you don't know this question. It's not that the question is necessarily bad or ill-intentioned, but it's just, I don't know, awkward to navigate. So I'm going through the woods near my residence, my place of residence. Also a tent in the middle of Oregon. No, I'm just kidding. Dude, I wish. I used to have this fantasy of living in a van my first few years of college, because it would be so much cheaper and more mobile and everything. Especially if you get a decent one that's not going to break down for a while, then it's like you spent that same amount of time, but in something that could take you around, versus a 6-month lease somewhere that's static, that you can't really go on any extensive trips with. You have to stay in the location. That gets to a traveling man as myself. Yeah. She reminded me of the time that in Citi Field, 2019, Dead and Company was playing Fire on the Mountain with Jerry Garcia's guitar, I might add. But he was playing the song, and they all did. They all played the song, and then it cut out the audio. You could barely hear it, just from the drums and the bass for some weird reason. But the whole stadium was just silent. And then eventually it was weird, and then when people realized that it wouldn't come back soon, they just sang along to the chorus It was really interesting. But from Nikki's perspective, it was terrifying because she was on the other end of it, where she had to fix it. Or not necessarily fix it because it wasn't her job, but like she's in charge of putting the show on, and she would always say this phrase, the show must go on. I've always like heard that phrase, and it sort of like had this weird like doom feeling, like we have to risk everything just to get this thing going. It's kind of dire, but it makes sense. I mean, it's become a I don't know, not a meme, an idiom, I guess, or just a casual thing that you just throw out there, like, well, the shows must go on. But like the actual deeper meaning of it, I sort of like discovered through doing theater and like acting and putting on shows and being in shows. Not necessarily putting on shows yet, but definitely being in them, where it's like no matter what happens, you just have to go with it. And like if a table flips over with like 3 1950s era glasses and the glasses just shatter on the ground, you just have to go with it. That happened my senior year when I played Kaniki in Greece. The other 3 greasers were like, I don't know, messing around with this table which was not secured to the ground with like real glasses on them, and one of them knocked into it or something and just spilled them, and they were so loud. But the thing was, it was really funny, and it became its own thing. Like people said they were like parents and everything putting on the show was like they were dying laughing. But yeah, it's weird. A lot of the moms help the Grease show. Like they just show up during the play season to do the makeup and any other sort of tasks that need to be done. I mean, there are dads involved, but it seems to be more like the construction, I guess, not necessarily the beauty. I've been cupping the microphone in my hand against the wind, and it's been so intimate and weird. I almost didn't do the podcast today, but then again, I almost didn't smoke today at all. Because I try to stick to the 3-day rule. I could barely say that. The 3-day rule about 2 days off, 1 day on with smoking, and usually I only smoke once for the whole day. If it's a big event, maybe like 4, like realistically. I think I did it 4 times over the weekend. But yeah, I don't know. This girl also said that she took, and I'm going to say this because no one knows her last name, no one knows who this is, but this character, you know her name already, whatever. We'll go on with the story regardless. She told me about how she would do work, like her concert gigs, on acid. And like, she told me the story about the fire in the mountain cutting out and remembering it being terrifying because she was on acid. And that's just so bizarre to me. Working while you're tripping. That's like, I feel like you get so accustomed, like my therapist I talked to, he said that you probably get so accustomed to it that it's not even like, it's so, you can function highly on it. And then it doesn't become some like exotic thing. So I've never been to this place before. The real place I'm at, not Oregon. It's very interesting. It's like a lot of land, but I'm so not familiar with it. It looks like a very simple trail layout. It's only like a donut and then a smaller donut. And the smaller donut is connected on one part, which is like a shorter loop, I guess, by a mile. And yeah, pretty simple. I think I'm gonna come back. Oh, I should say what I smoked over the weekend, because I never say what it is. Well, truthfully, I don't really know what it was. Yesterday, I didn't know the strain. It was weed. We did dabs too that were like something glass or like crystals, like one of those kinds of names. And unless she was just referring to the form it was in. But anyway, I took some dabs, and it was the dabs hit me hard at first, but then we spaced it out over the night, and when we did that, I was able to not feel it as strongly. I feel like I was gonna pass out. I'm gonna do the age-old trick, not really a trick, of checking whether we're recording, which we are. Good. The length of this podcast is about the length of time I went without, between getting high and recording the podcast. It was like 9-10 minutes. And I didn't even mention what I smoked today. So I don't know what I smoked over the weekend. Today I smoked I think it's called Granddaddy Purple. It's an indica dab pen, and it's pretty neat. Like, no smell. When you smoke it, there is a smell, but it goes away like in 15 minutes or so. Don't quote me on that. It might be longer or shorter. I literally have no idea. It feels like 15 minutes. It's not a long time. But I have no idea where I'm supposed to be going. Oh, okay. The trail did some weird things, and shadows played with my eyes. Granddaddy Purple, I took 2 puffs, 4 seconds each, like 4 or 5 seconds each, which has been my standard. That's like the bare minimum to get me like a good amount of high. Because like I only felt high and I forgot that this was a feature of it. I only felt high for like 25 minutes. So, and I'm already, like, when I started recording the podcast, I was already like on the downward slope of that. Yeah. So that's all the technical stuff. I could keep going, but I'm not gonna. I keep hearing my water bottle hitting against my back and sloshing around with all the water in it, and sounding like some sort of weird animal and like definite movement. I don't know. Anyway, oh god! I just stepped on something with my heel and it bent my ankle really far forward. Let's not sprain any ankles. That'd be kind of bad. I don't even know what I would do. Probably look up on the internet while I'm waiting. You know, I'm not going anywhere. Might as well look it up. I also have a knife, so that would be good for defense. How often are brown bear attacks in like the Northeast? And do it by state too, because there are some states where I feel like it's more than others. Closer to Canada, like for example. Oh, this is a steep grade. Yeah, I'm gonna use both hands for this. Damn, it's also a little windy, so it's kind of feels adventurous. Damn, this is kind of rough. It's so steep. It's gonna be this weird vertigo. Shit. I'm gonna use the tree as leverage. Okay, we're good. So steep. Alright. I'm just holding onto a tree and going down the steep trail. Using the tree as like an anchor, and that seemed to have helped. Okay. Dude, I could easily break my ankle out here. It's kind of scary. I should go with hiking buddies, but I hike so often, you know. I don't want to have to schedule around other people, you know. That's kind of boring. Problem is that I don't think anyone I know is as free as I am in terms of availability for stuff. This is a weird one. I'm gonna have to get down to my hands. Okay, come on. Let me just check the map real quick. This is kind of treacherous. Also, I should put my the Trails app more. I don't know. Looks like we're gonna be going downhill for a while. All right. Cool. That's all I need to know. Let's say something entertaining, because this has been kind of scary. Let's entertain ourselves here. I mean, trying to think of other loose ends in the. Nathan was the friend who came with me to freaking out of state to see my friend Nick play, this weekend. So anyway, he was awesome. He has a really cool mind. Like he tries to build things and stuff that are like things and stuff. He tries to build things that would be just like a minor tweak. Like this, he has this thing where he's trying to build a button panel where you can control the sound of your car horn, and it like projects some like preloaded sound through the car. He has two that are SpongeBob quotes. One of them, which he says is his favorite, is that it's like SpongeBob says, I don't know how to drive, I don't have my license, or something like that. Or something like that's like not that funny in the show, but like in context is like super, I don't know, knowing that, there's a driver of a car right there. Oh dude, this has been such a quick thing that I never even processed this. I'm seeing Bill Burr. He's coming to like some like janky ass barn place. I shouldn't say janky, It seems like a nice place. Warren Hayes plays there now, which I guess it's like one of the only venues open in the Northeast. But it's a farm, and you sit down in like a grid where the outside parts are all just walking trails, and you are like safe from any foot traffic in that grid. And it's a giant farm. They must have lights or screens or something to just make the people in the back see it. I mean, it's probably so close. It's only like it's less than 26 rows. I don't know how many columns there are, probably like 20. So it's probably a big plot of land. Every ticket basically is worth 2 people. You can only fit 2 people on that grid space. So, you know how it goes. I got a ticket. I knew I was going to, but I just wanted to make sure what their policy was about rain. They said it's rain or shine, which means they ban umbrellas, which is dumb. I mean, it makes sense because the people in the back want to see, but like umbrellas are so if it's pouring, like why wouldn't you want an umbrella or some sort of protection? They said hats are fine, but like I have yet to see a comfortable, stylish, and effective rain hat. Please prove me wrong, you people out there. I want to see the most efficient, the most stylish. I have one that's like a fishing hat. It's more for the sun than for rain, where it wraps all the way around, and then it goes loose, like just a really loose fabric in the back, and goes down your neck, so it protects you from the sun. But I think some version of that, except sturdier, where it wraps all the way around. It doesn't have to do a cloth thing in the back, because I feel like that wouldn't be effective. Maybe just a big thick brim all the way around. I don't know how else to explain it. So it's kind of dark down here. It's dark, not dark, but it's just like not well lit. The sun is behind a cloud or something. It's really windy today, and I didn't get to do a podcast that I was expecting to do last week for this guy that I've been working with. He's a weed reviewer, and he thought it'd be cool to do a show with me. So I'm sure. But because I've been waiting for him, and he just takes forever to respond, and he flaked on me one time to actually record it, I said, just we need to schedule this and like have a set time instead of just guess working it, because it's so annoying to move that joint around that we made. You'll hear about it in the episode if it happens. I brought Stardog, and he did too, across different coasts of the U.S., and we wanted to review it together. So I did my part. I bought it, but I've been having to shuffle it around. That was a hard sentence to say. I've been having to shuffle it around for the sake of snoopiness. what's the word? Discretion? No, I'm thinking of discreet, but there's another word that I was thinking about when thinking of how to talk about this to you guys. If you like discretion, I think that is the word, then Stardog is not for you. I'm probably going to say it during the review. I might not, I might forget. It's like so smelly. Just like one half nug, you know? You know, like those big like nugs? It's not one of those. It's like a third of that. I guess I can't really define big. It was like, honestly, probably like between a half ounce and an ounce nugget. So anyway, just that was smoking up my entire room, and I couldn't have that because I'm trying to be discreet for various reasons. So anyway, you know what? Now that we're talking about living situations and how it's like not ideal for me now, let's transition over to the other living situation, which was the off-grid lifestyle. I don't know if I could survive off-grid and no phones, because I like knowing what's happening, because it's good to know. Like, say, like there's a pandemic, you know, I need to know about that because that affects the entire way of life for the rest of the world. Whatever I said. This branch jumped back at me. I'm trying to like assemble the words for that topic, the off-grid topic. I think vans are the way to go, as small as possible. Not like shitty, not like from the 80s or whatever that you can get a good deal on. Something that's like, you know, 1990s at most in terms of age. And if you can get newer and more durable, whatever that means, like definitely go for that. That's my way of thinking. I want something compact, small, so that it's not a hassle to park and like, I don't know, maneuver, you know. Maybe this van will double as my income generator if I'm doing DoorDash or something, which seems to be the most mobile, friendly, and well-paying jobs out there. It's another reason why I couldn't live without a phone. I need to have to work, which I don't think is a bad thing. You know, I think it's a good thing. We humans built the iPhone and smartphones. Like, we did it to be more user-friendly. People would like more. Maybe not. That's not necessarily a good thing about people liking it more being a good motive. There's like tall ass grass around me, dude. This is a path not traveled. It's really. I'm gonna take a picture. Boop. Okay. Yeah. That's good. I just wanted to take a picture because I wanted you guys to see what the hell I'm looking at. It's like a giant field of really tall grass I can't see over. The distant sounds of cars. And I have no idea where I am relative to the parking lot. I made it halfway for sure, but maybe just barely. Might be a long walk. Either way, the end is like paved, so it's gonna feel shorter maybe. I don't know. Sorry, I dropped my phone and the cable came out. The headphones. It's annoying. Alright, I see buildings now. Looks like people fishing maybe. There's like a waterway. There's benches. They might be fishing. Bunch of noises in the tall grass. I'm Pokemon right now, dude. There's crickets. There's chirping crickets, or buzzing, I would say. I don't know. Pretty peaceful. I'm gonna come back. I'm mainly just filling up time because my brain is mush right now. I'm just like so passive and like just taking everything in. Not necessarily in an intellectual way, just like that state of being, like all I can do is just absorb. Yeah. These benches look nice. I'll come back here. I keep saying it, but I just want me to remember. Cool. Yeah. So like, you know what, I was gonna just rate how the podcast was over its duration in terms of like 1 out of 10. But I'm not gonna do that. You know, I'm gonna leave it up to you guys. I'm gonna keep going though, because I have more to say. I do not want to leave yet. Trying to think of what. Oh, the smoking. Yeah. I'm just gonna reiterate, like, dab pens are so worth the investment because they don't smell. As I was saying with the extreme example where I'm trying to make things not smell, for examples like those, like I chose that as an alternative if I ever wanted it. I bought flour and I bought dab, and then I bought later like CBD or THC concentrate, and which is like 90% or like 80% THC by volume, I guess, which is nuts. Because like weed is only like 14, like flour. I wish edibles still worked on me, because they were such like a cerebral experience. Yeah, I came out into a weird, I don't know, unfamiliar area. This whole journey has been strange. I'm glad you guys have accompanied me through it. I probably would have panicked on that steep downgrade when I was halfway through, because I'd be like, fuck, dude. I lost my train of thought. I completely lost it. Okay, never mind. It's just a nice place. I'll come back, as I say repeatedly. Oh yeah, I want to. I don't know what else I want to talk about it. Just beyond smelling like nothing. It was good. It got me well and high. Like I started podcasting 10 minutes into the high. You saw like the main gist of it, or maybe I started when I was feeling like I was coming off of it. I can't remember. Definitely shorter lasting. But if you're just going for that, it's very clean on the outset. Meaning, once the high dies down, you don't feel like an after effect of drowsiness or anything like that. So it's nice. I mean, maybe I do a little bit, but it feels less like sluggish and like there's resin everywhere in my throat and it tastes awful. Also, it probably is better on the breath, which is even more inconspicuous, vaping versus straight up smoking. Also, I haven't had a bowl in a long time, since like before the pandemic, so January, and then that ended up getting taken away by the Illuminati, and it ended up being fine. I went without it, not realizing that I would even smoke at all when I went to Madrid. Going there and like going to a cannabis club, it's just wild. I like all the recyclables. I'm probably going to post pictures of all these. I think I've taken this night on the Patrick's Green Tea podcast. Or no, I think it's just PatricksGreenTea.com. Under photos, you just look up the same number. So yeah, see, the background noise is not as bad as New York. I think recording is really cool out here, somewhere like here. I want to be able to come back here enough times to feel like it's familiar. But I don't want to get, rid of all the mysteries at once. I'm gonna hike the same path probably a few times, or maybe each path one time, and then at least no, I don't know what I'm trying to say. I want to hike each path. Yeah, I guess that's what I mean. One time, just to know the entire layout, and then go to my favorite one, and then intentionally forget about the others, and then rediscover them. That's why I love hiking. I've been in the same spot for like dozens and dozens of times, but I've only been here once, so I want to. And hiking is frequent, I can probably go some obscure, cooler places on my my constant quest to go to a one trail per day thing. I hope I'm making sense, because at the end of these I'm like, what the hell did I just say? Like, I'm listening to the words as I'm saying them. I was like, how did I get here? I think I know where I am. I do have to walk all the way up to the pavement, but it's good. It's good. I don't feel as weird being in the middle of the woods. I mean, like, honestly, I just walk here, or somewhere like here, or I just vape in my car and come out and walk. Like, this is just along the paved parts. It's a really nice walk. There's no weird feeling of being in the woods, but like you're isolated from all these cars and stuff, like driving by. So all that noise is gone. It's really cool. Speaking of noises being gone, no, I'm just kidding. I'm gonna end the podcast here. The episode. Oh, today was the day that I didn't even say the date. It's September 1st, 2020. You know why I knew that? It's because this is the first day that Joe Rogan, his podcast is on Spotify, and that's going to be a huge dynamic. No one really knows what's going to happen because of that, but everyone feels like that's a big shift in like a tectonic shift in the whole foundation and structure of the internet, I guess. I don't know. He's really well known. He has a lot of pull, and by taking away from all those different platforms, I think he might lessen his pull, P-U-L-L, and yeah, I don't know. I was saying because I just walked by a car with a lady in it, and she was like, "What the fuck?" I didn't know she was in there. I was like kind of screaming the word "pull" at her. So anyway, cars suck. There's so much parking here. I didn't even really know where the best spot to park was. I didn't know where the trailheads were. They don't even have marked like official trailheads here. It's just like I had to look on the map, and they had colors. They had red and yellow. Red is like a giant loop. Like I said, it was that big, whatever I said, with the yellow one being a smaller ring within that. I think the yellow branched at one point, but I think that was it in terms of actual trails. The red one looked like it was kind of hard, because this was a good walk, but red would be probably too much. It might not have that steep freaking grade, which would be nice. Maybe that would make it better than the yellow. I don't know if I'll go back to the yellow again, just for that. I'm going to forget, though, and just go right through it anyway. Because it brought me out to a cool spot. I think all of it comes out to a cool spot. Just south of the southernmost parking lot, which is where I emerged from. Part of me wants to listen to music, but part of me is like, I don't know. I want to celebrate the end of summer. That's the main goal of this. I almost smoked 3 puffs instead of 2, but I thought I'll save it because just in general, I think that thought too often, and just economically, I get a good mileage out of 2 puffs, But anyway, I might do 1 later or something, I feel like 1 would do. Does that make you groggy without making you high? I'm really sorry about the wind this episode. This is like, maybe I'll call this windy day, or like, I don't know, what's a cool sounding way to describe wind. Zeus's meatball breath. No, I don't even know where that came from. Fucking Poseidon's. Oh, who's that? Yeah, Zeus is the god of the air. I don't know. I feel like Thor and stuff is more interesting than Zeus, Not, and I'm biased because like I've seen Thor so many times in the movies. But I think Thor and what was his god? Odin, those are, and Valhalla. That's just such an interesting dynamic of celestial power and proximity to humanity, and I don't know. It was Thor, Odin. I just know Asgard. I think that's what it was called, but it wasn't the same thing as it is in the movies with this technological weird, I don't even know how to describe it. But they interact with the universe and so weird. They have a rainbow bridge, and somehow the movie made it able to look let me do that again at the running start. I don't even know what I was trying to say. Rainbow Bridge. The directors found a cool way to make that idea cool, a rainbow bridge. But it was light, and it moved so cool and became this ice, just from its energy. I don't know. I didn't expect to be praising the rainbow bridge when I got into the topic of Odin and Thor. Mainly what I'm trying to say is that the Nordic mythology is more interesting than Greek. Although I did see the Greek one play out in Percy Jackson, and that's where I learned all of it. But I think I know enough of it now to know the message, or not the message, but the general gist of each of them. With literally Rick Riordan, I don't know. He just rewrote these legends as if they were a teen thriller. I don't know. That's just he basically scammed everyone, but he wasn't intelligent about it. It's not copywritten. It's just a mythology. It was brilliant, and he did it with all these other mythologies. The Egyptian one was really cool because that's some really far out stuff. The way they just conceive of magic, it's really strange. Their wands are I'm so fascinated by the wands, the Egyptian wands in the Met, and I'm so curious about how they, what they thought of the afterlife, because it's really different from what we think. We, as in the current iteration of the strongest civilization on Earth, maybe not the strongest, but the dominant. So that was a good walk. It was a good podcast. Alright, I'm going to hang it up now. Thank you to all who listen. Share it to your weed-loving friends, and they will appreciate you for it. And so will I. Have a good, blessed semester. It'll be at least a few weeks into the semester by the time you hear this, or the semester will be over. Or I can just say and be vague about which semester it is. No, you guys know. Yeah. Have a good. I hope your summers were good. You know what? That's a good way to phrase what I was trying to say. I hope your summers were good. Because that's all I know right now. Everything else is in flux. Maybe people's winter 2020 is going to be even worse than the summer, and it's just going to be chaos. Who knows? No, I think it's fine. Bye.
Hello. Thanks for listening to the podcast. You can find me at PatricksGreenTea on Patreon, Discord, Spotify, YouTube, Twitch, and Bandcamp, Patrick's Green Tea Podcast on Instagram, and Patrick Green Tea without an S on Twitter. The show is available wherever you get your podcasts. Supplemental materials like photos and text are available on our website, PatricksGreenTea.com. You can join our subreddit at r/PatricksGreenTea. You can make comments on YouTube and on the website, and you can contact me directly at patricksgreentea@gmail.com. Don't forget to leave a review of the show on your favorite podcasting platform. It really helps us out. Thank you so much, and have a lovely day.